Welcome to the Duff Kid Show. Let's go.
Hey! All right. Welcome to the GK Show. Fun music at the beginning. Yeah! Hope you're having a good day. Let's start the pod. And I'm back. Here we go. Gonna get another quick one out. I'm in Cozumel, and before I leave the ship, I wanted to crank out another Pittity Pop Pop podcast. So anyways, if you haven't yet, please rate the podcast 5 stars. It really helps me out. Subscribe, tell a friend, leave a review, 5 stars and a review. That'd be great. 5 stars at the very least. Takes 10 seconds. All right, really helps out. Sorry for having to mention it constantly. Got it out of the way though, so now we can just get going. Had some coffee and ready to rock. First off, I just want to say another comic told me about this show on Amazon called The Boys. If you have Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, oh my god, this show is really entertaining, and I think all ages would like it. Not saying kids because it's a little graphic, but I'm saying like, I told my parents, I was like, hey, you should watch this show called The Boys. It's really actually pretty entertaining. Basically, it's about a bunch of superheroes who everybody loves, but they're just pieces of shit behind the scenes. So it's really interesting, like how the show starts and everything. It gets going really quick and like ropes you in, you know. Sometimes these shows, these like long form shows now that they have on like Amazon and Netflix, where they're basically just like, you know, with these shows that are like 10 episodes and, you know, 45 minutes hour each, you know, these are kind of just like movies. They're just like, it's like watching a trilogy or something, you know, for movies. They're like kind of drawn out, and sometimes the first episode is okay, and then you get roped in the second, third episode, then you love the show. This show ropes you in right away, so highly recommend The Boys. Want to talk about a couple things really quick. This shouldn't be a long one. One, I think I mentioned this before, but when I'm on these ships, the internet plan, I can only, there's like, you can get like social media only, you know, type of thing. You could pay like a lot of money and get regular internet, but the internet's not always great, so it's not really worth paying all that. But so it's like when I'm on these ships, man, I'm checking Twitter and Facebook. I barely ever check Twitter and Facebook when I'm home, but when I'm on the ships, it's like that's my only kind of connection to the outside world. I can text on like WhatsApp or iMessage and stuff like that, and Instagram too, right? So it's like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. These are like the things, like I'd rather just, you know, check like regular news or something. Oh my god, like it like they should just do a case study on people where it's like you can only use social media. That's all you can use, because that's kind of like where I am when I'm on these ships. It makes me so depressed. I'm not even joking. Like I'm legitimately, I have to be like, all right, fuck it, like don't even check it, just read your books because it legitimately just brings me down. You know what I mean? All I want is to see like, oh, like what's going on, you know, like I don't have like regular news outlets or something, so I check like Twitter and it's just like, this is what's trending, and you know, and the things that are trending are so manipulated on Twitter already, and then you like, you know, okay, I'm just like sitting there bored, what's that? What's trending? You know, I click on it and then it's just like people just shitting on each other left and right, and just like extremely biased opinions, and just people just yelling past each other. It's so bad. I'm like, oh, just check out Facebook. Facebook is like either the same thing, this political, just hyper partisan shit, or it's posts about like, oh, like, you know, my dad died, or like my grandma died, or my grandpa died, or my spouse died. Like, where I saw one, like this person, their kid died, and she's like, she would have been 26 today, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like heart-wrenching stuff. And I'm not saying like don't post it or whatever, like I get it, like people, you know, want to post what they post, but just like it's just so depressing. It makes me so sad. Like, people I don't even know, obviously, but it's still just like so sad. Like, I started crying a little bit. God, I cry a lot. But when I saw this lady post about how her daughter like apparently passed away when she was like 20 or 21, and her daughter had a kid, so she had like a little girl. I'm just like, oh my god, like obviously that stuff is so sad. But then when you factor in like when you have kids and you can like kind of picture, at least because I'm such a psycho, I picture like something like that directly happening to one of my kids, and I just like lose it. So anyways, social media is just the most depressing thing. And then Instagram is just a bunch of people who are like posting, I'm having the best time ever. I'm having the best time ever. I'm having the best time ever. And you're just sitting there like, I'm sitting on the toilet like looking at this. You're having the best time ever, and I am trying to squeeze out the rest of this crap. I feel like I'm losing. All right. Another thing I wanted to touch on very quickly, and then I got a couple articles I screenshot. Andrew Luck. I'm not a big football guy. I like watching football games, you know. When it gets into the playoffs and stuff, I'll go to a game. Now that the Rams are back in LA, my father-in-law likes the Rams, always has. So we went to, I didn't go with him now that I brought him up, but my wife and I took our daughter to a Rams game. I'm guessing that was 2 years ago because Levi wasn't there. Or was Levi alive and then he just didn't get to go to the game? I think maybe he was like a little baby. I don't know. What if my son listens to this someday? What? You went to a Rams game without me? But I'm trying to get my parents and my wife and everyone on board to go to this other Rams game because I got this thing through cystic fibrosis to like the tickets we buy can benefit. If we go through this thing, it can benefit cystic fibrosis, which is a good time for me to plug my book that should be out hopefully as soon as possible. I'm having a really, really, really hard time with the illustrators, but my book is called Different, and the website will be thedifferentbook.com, and it's a children's book. And I am praying that I find a way to get the word out about it because it really means a lot to me. And I'm going to give a portion of the proceeds to Emily's Entourage, which is a charity that benefits patients with cystic fibrosis who have a specific mutation of it that has no cure right now. There's some forms of CF that they're starting to find cures and treatments for, which is awesome. But this certain mutation, which is the one that my close friend has, they haven't found anything for that yet. So anyway, so I want the money to go directly there. So I'm hoping I sell as many books as possible so I can give as much as possible to Emily's Entourage. And they're like all ready to help me out too. They're like, oh, we want to get the word out about your book. And it was supposed to be done at the beginning of June. And these illustrators are just effing up like so many things. Like it was supposed to be done, and then I go to upload it, to a site, and all the margins were off. And I'm like, dude, what the heck, man? I go, the whole point was that you're supposed to create it so it's like uploadable to all these self-publishing sites because I'm self-publishing. That was like our deal from day one, which I believe started in like April, maybe May. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was May. But anyways, this is like getting ridiculous, and I'm trying not to get angry about it. So anyways, thedifferentbook.com will be the website, and the book, it's personal to me. It means a lot to me. I feel like it's turning out pretty well. You know, it's looking nice. So very excited about it. All right. So anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, football. So Andrew Luck retired. He's the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, and I don't follow football too closely. Andrew Luck, like really, really good quarterback. He was supposed to take over basically for Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. And he was kind of like a sure thing type quarterback, which usually there's not, according to all the sports guys who talk about it. So he was like sure thing type guy. And he just kept getting injured and like fighting through injuries. And that's got to suck, you know? So apparently he's made like $100 million or something. And he's 29. And a lot of people got mad that he decided to retire, which fans, by the way, like I know some people support the fans like, hey, they're emotional. They're just rooting for their team. If you are like root for your team, be a fan, but don't be a fan in the true sense of the word, which is fanatic, because then you're just a psycho. Like you're a loser. Like, I'm sorry, I've talked about this before, but the people that go to sporting events and I've seen people with their parents, you know, like I was at a Cavs game in Cleveland once, and this kid's like probably 11 or 12 yelling with his dad, like, yeah, hey, you suck, you know, Rudy Gobert, whoever they were playing, like they're like yelling mean things to the other players. It's like, just root for your team. What is so hard? Like, I don't get it. You can root against the other team, root for your team. I get it. We all do that. I'm not saying you should do that. But this need to like shit on people who are not on your team, who are human beings, who are just like doing their job and entertaining you, by the way. Like, the other team is also entertaining you just by being there. You know what I mean? It's like, so those people just suck. So a bunch of people, I guess, I saw people that were, online who were like real gracious to Andrew Luck and, and all this stuff. But some people were just, crapping on the guy and whatever. And it's just, guys, if you had $100 million or $50 million and you're 29, would you go to your job every day? If you're getting injured, like if you're, I don't know what his injuries were, but if your knees are getting all jacked up and your ankles and your Achilles or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like you're getting shoulder tears or whatever's going on at your job, and you already have, let's just say 50 million, which I think is less, that's half of what he has. But like, are you going to your job? You going to that job when that's what's happening to you every time? I mean, and you've just been fighting through injury and everything, and you got $50 million and you're 29 years old. I mean, that'd be pretty hard for me. Like, yeah, obviously if everything's going great and you're healthy and you're winning Super Bowls, you're going to the playoffs every year, and you're not having to deal with injuries, like any serious injuries, yeah, I'd still keep going, make some more money, all that. But it's like, I don't know, man. If it's just a total pain in the ass, you just keep getting hurt, I don't think most people would. I hate that fans are like, this person owes me something. They don't owe you shit. You know what I mean? You don't know them personally. They don't know you. They don't owe you shit. You know what I mean? All they owe is like when they're getting all this money to go out there and play their hardest. If they're going out there and playing their hardest and they're getting hurt, it's not their fault. You know what I mean? I remember a lot of people didn't like Andrew Bynum, who's on the Lakers, and he might have had some attitude issues. I don't know, but that guy had really bad knees. And I remember I read something once. It didn't get covered much. He won a couple championships with the Lakers. He won the last two Kobe won with Pau Gasol and Kobe and Lamar Odom and all that. And this guy's just like, after that, like his knees just got really bad. The guy's 7'1". I mean, those people that are really big like that, I mean, we see some athletes that are just happy, like Kevin Durant. That guy's probably 7 feet tall. I think he says he's 6'11". And you're like just amazed. I know I just brought up a guy who's super hurt right now because of his Achilles that he ruptured. But I mean, being that tall and that athletic and not having like joint issues, I mean, it's pretty rare. Like we're watching unicorns out there, you know what I mean? So guy had bad knees and he couldn't play, and then people were just like, oh, this guy, I think he was on the Sixers, and people were like, oh, he quit on the Sixers. It's like, and I remember him in an article, he's like, I can't help that I have like terrible knees. You know what I mean? I'm sure he wishes he didn't have terrible knees. I have a bad back. I don't even play professional sports. I wish my back wasn't this bad, because then I can run on the treadmill and like mix up my workouts like I used to, and stay in better shape. I go play basketball. I can't do that shit anymore. All right. Oh, the other guys too. Pro athletes, this guy saying in general, I was listening to a podcast last night, and CJ McCollum, who's a shooting guard on the Portland Trail Blazers in the NBA, he just signed like this is not just, I think he did maybe a little while ago, $100 million extension for like the next 3 years. So now he has like, I could be getting the numbers wrong, but something like a 5-year, $157 million contract. That is insanity. Like having that much money and being that young, I don't know. Like I judge, pro athletes too, and then they do something stupid, and all that, and we all do, but it's like, you gotta take a step back and be like, what would you be like if you were, I think he's 27, but some guys get all this money younger. Like if you had if you had $70 million and you're 22, you sign some contract, or say you get drafted when you're 19 and you sign in your first round and you sign a contract for, I don't know, $30 million or whatever for your first 3 years or whatever it is. Like, what? Think back. Like, be honest with yourself and think back to you at 19, and now give 19-year-old you $30 million and give 19-year-old you surrounded by people who just kiss your ass all the time. Because these guys are surrounded by people who just kiss their ass, a lot of hangers on, a lot of people who just like want to be in because you fucking have all this money and you're like a celebrity now. Just imagine that. I told my dad that once about I believe this was Andrew Bynum again. I keep bringing up Andrew Bynum, but when he's on the Lakers, my dad would sometimes be like, man, I just don't like his attitude or something. I'm like, Dad, I go, My dad said he doesn't seem to care about winning, something like that. I could be messing up what my dad said a long time ago, but the point is, Andrew Bynum was a big guy, right? Big guys that are good at basketball. If it's like obvious, like you're going to be over 7 feet tall and you're athletic and you have like some good touch with the ball and you can do moves and stuff, it's like, whoa, this person could go to the NBA. And Andrew Bynum went to the NBA when he was 17. Can you imagine that? You're 17, you're not even 18 yet, and you get drafted in the NBA because they're like, yeah, you're good enough, or you're going to be good enough. So we're going to draft you right now because you're pretty much a lock to be at least a good, decent player. Can you imagine how long he was having his ass kissed by adults? Think about that. He's in 7th grade. He's probably, I don't know, 6'5" or something. I played on a team with Amir Johnson briefly, who's in the NBA. I think he's still in the NBA. And Amir's 6'11". I think he's 7 feet. I don't know. And Amir, I played with him when I was 15 or 16, and he was on my team, and he was 13, and he was 6'5". He was just like a goofy kid, but he was 6'5". And it was like, yeah, he's 6'5". I remember my tall friends that played basketball with me, and when they were in 7th grade, it was like, oh man, 6'1" in 7th grade. Gee, or 6 foot in 7th grade, and then like 8th grade, you're like 6'1", 6'2" maybe. Oh my God, you're so tall. Amir was 13 and he was 6'5", and now I'm pretty sure he's 7 feet tall. He's been playing in the NBA for over a decade now. So, anyways, just think about that. And then I saw some breakdowns too of like Steph Curry. He gets like $40 million a year basically because he signed a $201 million contract for 5 years. So if you break it down evenly, I'm sure like each year it's different the way that NBA contracts go, but basically they always do. I don't know why people do this, just to make other people feel like shit. Other people being all of us. But he makes $122,000 a quarter. And that's not even like a quarter that he plays. They're just doing the math on how many games he has, how many quarters he has, and dividing it. He's definitely going to take some games off. He might get injured. He might just take a game off for rest. There might be a quarter he just doesn't play because, you know, his team's already kicking the shit out of the other team, or vice versa. So he just sits the 4th quarter or something. So that's just like, if he played every quarter, he would be getting, it was like $122.4 thousand per quarter. And it's like, look, I'm not hating. Like, it's capitalism. If you generate that type of income or money, which the NBA does and the NFL does and all that, if you're part of generating all that, and especially you're a guy like that who people really come and pay to see, and they pay a certain price and all that, like, good for you, man. I'm not hating. All I'm saying is, I'm watching that show, The Boys, about superheroes, and I feel like pro athletes are our superheroes. I talked about gymnasts. Gymnasts they're like superheroes, and they don't even get paid. I don't know if gymnasts get paid, but gymnasts just literally, I think I talked about this the other day, Simone Biles did some new triple twist flip thing. If I didn't talk about it, I wanted to talk about it. But gymnasts, I've talked about this for years, like, they're just like X-Men or something. They're on like a mat, and they just lean back on their back foot, and then they just go, okay, and I'm gonna run, and then I'm gonna flip, jump. They jump in the air so high and do all these flips, and everyone's like, okay, I'll give that a 8.4. It's like 8.4. It's like, what did we just see? Come on. I get out of bed in the morning and I have to stretch and like twist and everything to like loosen up my lower back. And they're just like, I'm gonna lean back, and they do whatever superheroes do. So, anyways, pro athletes, man, they just live in a totally different universe. I mean, can you imagine? Sometimes they do those things too, where they take a screen, like a picture of LeBron James walking into an arena or something, and they're like, his bag is $44,000, his hat is $500, his shirt is this much, whatever. And it's like, this guy's walking in with like $75,000 outfit. It's just like, that's like, with the amount of money they make, that's like nothing to them. That's like us walking around with our $75 outfit total. So it's just it's all relative, but it doesn't make you feel good. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're like, man, I'm just trying to pay my rent or whatever you're going through, and this guy's got a $45,000 bag, but hey, he earned it. All right, let's read a couple of these articles. I'm going to get this up so I could go to Cozumel and enjoy my day a little bit. Let's see. All right. After a Georgia teenager reported a sexual assault to her school administrators, she said she was expelled for, quote, sexual impropriety. Now she's suing. So this is not good at all from the headline, right? A teenager in Georgia is suing the Fayette County Board of Education, saying she was expelled for sexual impropriety after she reported a sexual assault. The teenager, identified as AP in court, I always like to try and guess their name. AP, Ashley Parsons. Ashley Parsons. What if I nailed that? Oh, last night on my show, I was joking around with this lady in the crowd, and I said something about, she thought I predicted something because I made some joke about, I can't even explain it, whatever. Bottom line is I guessed her name exactly, and she couldn't believe it, and she stood up, and the crowd was going crazy, and I was like, guys, it was still a lucky guess. Her name was Rachel. The teenager, identified as AP in court documents, said that when she was a 16-year-old sophomore at Fayette County High School in 2017, she told administrators that another student sexually assaulted her and pressured her into performing oral sex. Hold on, let me just get my computer back open. She was then expelled for the rest of the school year, and the principal said she violated a school conduct code that prohibited sexual impropriety, the lawsuit said. That is insane. If this is if we're getting all the facts, which I have to believe we're not, this girl was forced into performing a blowjob on another student, and then the school was like, well, bottom line is, we don't know if you were forced, but we do know that you performed a blowjob, so you're gone. That is insane. The lawsuit accuses Fayette County High School of violating Title IX by expelling her from school. I don't know, that's Title IX. I'm reading this. This is the same thing. I'm reading the article and just keep repeating the same stuff. A teenager in Georgia is suing her former school district, saying she was expelled for sexual impropriety. In a lawsuit filed on Friday, seen by Insider and first reported by the Lily, the teenager, identified as AP in documents. Okay, it's the same thing. She was then expelled for the rest of the school year, and the principal said she violated. Okay, same thing. The teenager's lawsuit was filed in federal court. Okay, the lawsuit accuses Fayette County High School of violating Title IX, which states no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Yeah, that's what I thought Title IX was. I don't get why that's... Where in there about Title IX is it about a girl being forced into a blowjob and then she gets expelled from school? What does that mean? That if a guy got forced into a blowjob, he wouldn't have been expelled? I don't get it. According to a press release from the NWLC, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, I can't get past that. So say there's a dude, say I'm in high school, some other student forces me to blow him, and then I go, hey, that guy just forced me in oral sex, and they're like, well, the good news is you're a guy, so you get to stay in school. If you were a girl, you're out of here. We can't have girls getting, blowjobs. Okay, I don't get it. According to a press release from the NWLC, AP was placed in an in-school suspension after she reported the sexual assault to guidance counselors and an assistant principal. She was then given a 10-day out-of-school suspension pending a disciplinary hearing, then ultimately expelled for sexual impropriety and referred to an alternative school for the 2017-18 school year, the press release said. I don't get this at all. Fayette County's superintendent school board and 3 former administrators at the high school are named in the suit. The teenager alleges that the student she accused of sexual assault had faced similar accusations in the past, and administrators, quote, were or should have been on heightened duty to protect other students from sexual harassment by him. The student has not been charged with any crimes. That effort to silence and punish her is not only morally reprehensible, it is illegal. The effort to silence... Emily Martin, Vice President for Education and Workplace Justice at NWLC, said in a statement, that effort to silence and punish her is not only morally reprehensible, it is illegal. Schools have a duty to make sure sexual assault doesn't deprive the survivor of educational opportunities. They also have a duty to not retaliate against those who report. Officials did the exact wrong thing here, derailing AP's education, sending the message that those who speak up about sexual assault will be punished. AP and all students deserve better. Yeah, what is the school's position on this? Why did this girl ever get expelled? I don't get it. And why did they ever go after the guy? I don't understand. Was the guy just given a pass, or did they go after him and he told his side of the story and he had proof that maybe she did it voluntarily and then they expelled her? I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of, right? I'm trying to just do devil's advocate here. What's the other side of this story? Fayette County Board of Education spokeswoman Melinda Berry Dreisbach said in a statement to Insider that the school system could not discuss the lawsuit due to pending litigation. She said the school system, quote, follows its student discipline code of conduct in providing due process to all students. Quote, we also abide by our policies regarding sexual harassment. The school system has not seen the complaint, but will respond through the court proceedings and fully expects to prevail on the legal and factual merits of the claims. All right, so that's all I could think is that devil's advocate, this girl gave a voluntary blowjob, then tried to say it was involuntary and she was forced into it, and then they had somehow proof that it was voluntary, like maybe text messages. I'm just making up a story now, but maybe text messages from the guy and the girl, and she was like, hey, that was fun. We should do that again. I can't believe I gave you oral sex right near the lockers in the hallway during zero period. Like, I don't know. Like, good thing we both got a hall pass and I got out of geometry and you got out of algebra, and then I voluntarily sucked your dick. Like, unless, like, it's something like that, I don't, based off reading this article, which definitely most articles I feel like nowadays can be very one-sided, unless it's something like that, I don't see how this girl is raped, basically orally raped, and then she's like, hey, guess what just happened? This is terrible. I have to tell you. And then they're just like, get out of here. We'll give you a 10-day suspension to think about what you did, and now you're gone. And what's send her to an alternative school? It's what they recommended. What's that mean? A school for girls who give blowjobs? I don't get it. All right. Should I do this last article? This article, let's see how long this is. I could read that. Okay, so this is about Lori Laughlin from Full House. If everybody is not aware, her and her husband tried to bribe college. She was in that scandal, bribing colleges to get their kids in. So here we go. Lori Laughlin was back in court Tuesday for a hearing related to the college admissions scandal. She and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, it's the Massimo guy, by the way, everyone, Massimo brand, appeared united, entering the courthouse hand in hand, wearing a gray cardigan over a dress. Laughlin and Giannulli, in a navy suit, attempted to avoid the media by slipping through a back door. Laughlin and Giannulli, who are both charged with mail fraud and money laundering conspiracy, appeared in U.S. District Court in Boston for a Rule 44 hearing, which was basically to waive their right to separate attorneys and acknowledge that they understand there could be conflicts of interest. Using the same counsel goes along with their plan of a, quote, united front and their defense, though it could make it harder to win an appeal. The couple's chosen law firm also recently represented the University of Southern California in an unrelated matter, which is an alleged victim in the case. I thought her and Felicity Huffman were basically caught red-handed in all this. I mean, so what do you say? I guess they're going to argue that they thought their money was going elsewhere, but I don't know about that. According to Boston station WCVB, the judge told Laughlin and Giannulli sharing the same lawyers constitutes a potential and actual conflict of interest. The judge cautioned them that the only way to know you're getting the best legal advice is if your attorneys have a duty of loyalty, quote, to you and you alone. Despite the warning, I like how they're like, we're going to go down together. This is the Titanic, baby. We'll hold hands. We got the same lawyer. We're fine. Despite the warning, the couple moved forward with a shared legal team, telling the judge they understand the risks of their, quote, dual legal representation. The 55-year-old actress and her designer husband, 56, dude, they're 55, 56, they look great, are accused of paying $500,000 in bribes to admissions consultant William Rick Singer to get their daughters, Olivia Jade and Isabella Giannulli, admitted as crew recruits at the University of Southern California, despite the socialites never participating in the sport. That is the funniest thing ever. Like, yeah, we're on the crew team. Here's a Photoshop picture of me rowing crew. Why is one daughter named Isabella Giannulli and the other one's Olivia Jade? Maybe, I think Olivia Jade is the one who's like a Instagram person. She's a social media influencer. I think she's the one. Is she the one that like bragged about, yeah, I'm going to go to USC and like just like to not go to class or whatever, which makes it even worse. According to the Massachusetts U.S. Attorney's charging documents, went as far as staging photos on rowing equipment and setting up a fake crew profile. It's so funny. The scandal has been widespread among the elite, and Laughlin's peer, actress Felicity Huffman, was among the about 50 parents, coaches, exam proctors, and admissions counselors involved. However, the Desperate Housewives star, whose bribe was much less at $15,000, made a deal with prosecutors and pleaded guilty to one charge of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services fraud. When she is sentenced on September 13th, it's expected she'll get 6 months or less in prison. Felicity Huffman doing time in prison. She'll probably just get a spin-off show about it. You know what I mean? She's like probably working with showrunners right now about her time in her 6 months in prison. I feel like Felicity Huffman, even though she did the same shady shit, she's got to be a little annoyed that she's being lumped in with Lori Laughlin, because they apparently bribed with $500,000. Felicity Huffman did $15,000, and she's like, "Come on, can we just stop mentioning me in the same sentence as them? I did $15,000. They're doing $500,000. That's like less than 10%. That's not even 10%. Would be 50. So 5% would be 25. It's like, what is that? Like 3%? It's like 3% of what Lori Laughlin and her husband did. They got that Massimo money and that Full House, syndication money. Laughlin has gone a different route amid this Operation Varsity Blues scandal. After opting not to make a deal with prosecutors, the Fuller House star and her husband were each slapped with an additional charge and pleaded not guilty to both. If convicted, each charge carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. That's 40 years apiece. Wait, what? Oh, each charge, yeah. While it seems like they took a large gamble, People magazine reports in its latest issue that Laughlin didn't think she was doing anything wrong. Lori is remorseful, and she has definite regrets, said a source close to the actress, who has a large fan base for years playing Aunt Becky on Full House and the reboot. Quote, she's embarrassed and hurt, and she knows that her reputation has been ruined for life, but she also believes that the allegations against her aren't true. However, quote, she honestly didn't think what she was doing was any different than donating money for a library or athletic field. That's the crux of why she pleaded not guilty. So she thought photoshopping pictures of her kids on the crew team and they've never played crew and them getting a crew scholarship is the same as donating to the library. My thing is, why didn't you just donate to the library? I'm pretty sure your kids would have gotten in if you donated $500,000 to the library. You know what I mean? Or anything. The science center, the journalism department, whatever. That's why I don't understand about this. You're already a celebrity. Your husband's a celebrity. You donate a bunch of money to the school. I'm pretty sure they'd accept your kids because of that. All right. The source also noted that Laughlin is in, quote, constant communication with her legal team, Latham and Watkins. Those names don't sound Jewish. Come on. As a Jew, you want to be with, like, Stein, Rabinowitz, and Goldberg or something. You know what I mean? Latham and Watkins, and is keeping, quote, meticulous records on everything, including the other defendants and the plea deals they made. Quote, she wants to know who is getting what punishment and how their cases differ from hers. Maybe some of their cases differ because their kids were on a crew team. They didn't have to Photoshop the pictures. They still don't deserve the scholarship. At least they got in a boat once and rowed it. That contradicts speculation made after her earlier court appearances in Los Angeles and another Boston, that Laughlin wasn't taking the situation seriously enough. I love how I had to do one more screenshot for the word seriously enough. That's the end of the article. All right, so I'll just read that last paragraph again. That contradicts speculation made after her earlier court appearances in Los Angeles and another in Boston that Laughlin wasn't taking the situation seriously enough. So, according to her friends, she's taking it seriously, and she just seriously doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. I think that is like the best defense, you know what I mean, in that situation, if you're going to just try and not admit guilt. It's like the old Dave Chappelle joke from Killing Him Softly in 2000, where he did the whole joke about how he got pulled over with his white buddy, and his white buddy said to the cop, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't know I couldn't do that." And like that's the whole joke, that just saying you didn't know you couldn't do it is enough. So anyways, there we go. That's a wrap on that one. I'm going to go to Cosmo. I'm going to upload these 2 episodes I have. Last one's pretty long. It's close to an hour. So thanks so much, guys. Please rate the podcast 5 stars if you haven't already. Tell a friend. Share an episode if you thought it was a good one. I'm trying to crank out as much content as possible so you guys get, maybe you can listen every day or something. Trying not to make them too long. If I talk slow one episode, put it on 1.5 speed. So yeah, please rate the podcast 5 stars. Be on the lookout for thedifferentbook.com. I'm very excited about that. Hopefully we can raise some money for cystic fibrosis.
Thank you for listening to my daddy.